Hello.
No.
I feel less prepared now than I did an hour ago when I came here because I'm fundamentally changed by the talks that I've already heard since being here, which is the point of the evening. So thank you everyone who's presented so far. And I would stay till the end of the night, but I have one daughter I stretched and she's by herself at home, so probably gonna have to leave kind of soon after I talk. But I'm really thrilled to be a part of this community, thrilled to have been invited by Betsy to do this. I totally just jumped off a cliff when she asked if anyone wanted to speak and was like, I do, but I didn't even know what I wanted to talk about. Thanks for being here. My main message, and we talked about the next level of women's health for community change, is that women's health isn't just women's health. It's all of our health. So please don't check out if you're a man or if you feel like women's health doesn't apply to you, because until we see women's health as all of our health, we're not going to see a next level of planetary evolution that we're all hoping for. So I want to offer you a metaphor. Have any of you ever felt like you know you're on the brink of a change and you're on one side of a river and you're on that riverbank and you're about to have to get into the river, or someone's pushing you into something, or someone is pushing you into the river, so you're like reluctantly hanging on to that known riverbank, but you know you got to get in, but you don't know anything about that other riverbank. You've heard some stories, you have maybe a bit of an inkling, but you don't know what's going to be in the river. You don't know if there's rocks there that you're going to be able to grab onto. You don't know if there's anyone else in the river with you. You're wondering, am I going to survive this river? Who am I going to be on the other side of the river? What kind of condition am I going to be in when I arrive on that other side of the river? I don't even know who I'm going to be when I'm on that side of the river. Has anyone ever experienced anything like that? Yeah, almost everyone, right? And so we all have these personal transitions in our lives that are unique to us, because we all, like Nancy said, we all have our own configuration, or like this lovely woman, Kathy Bliss, is that your name? Yeah. She was saying all of us even have down to the frequency level, the specific frequency for us that's our healing vibration. But we also have these universal transitions or rite of passages that our culture isn't so strong in supporting us through. So there's a word that I really love, and maybe you'll learn this tonight, or maybe some of you know it, but the word is called liminal. And it means a threshold, or the beginning of a rite of passage. It also means the transitional phase where the participant lacks a social status or rank. So what is a threshold? Like, there's a tradition in Judaism when you get married and you jump over the threshold, you literally go from one place to another. Or in a lot of cultures, these thresholds or these transitions were physical places. So you're in one physical place and that's where you live. And then you're going to have a baby. So when you're pregnant, you go and you live in another hut, because that's where all the pregnant people live. And then you're about to give birth, and then you go to the birthing hut, and that's an actual physical place. And then after the birthing hut, you go to another hut, because that's where all of the women with babies live. And then eventually you get transitioned to wherever it is that you're going to set up your family afterwards. So you had literal physical places that you were moving when you occupied each part of your transition or your journey. But nowadays we don't really have that. And so we rush through these transitions in a way that's almost like, did we want them to happen? Did all of us come through that transition? My physical body's here, but is my soul here? Is my emotional body here? Maybe not even all of my physical body made it to the other side of the river. And so what I'm here to talk about is the postpartum period, which right now, if you say the word postpartum, most people think depression, because that's what's in the news. And people consider postpartum depression to be a women's mental health issue. But actually, postpartum is an amazing time, like many of these liminal spaces, where all parts of ourselves are wide open for change. And when we put in the right elements, it's the most potentiating, powerful, blissful time. Does that mean you're happy all the time and it's like the happy-go-lucky, it's romantic? No, it means you get to fully experience every part of that transition. But we need things to be able to fully dive into that river. We can't just dive into it. There's conditions that allow us to dive into it, where we know that we're shepherded through those transitions to the other side. And that deep knowingness allows us to dive so fully down or jump so high up that we know we're going to be caught on the other side, and we're going to be more whole we're not going to be more fragmented then. We're going to actually arrive on the other side more of who we are. Doesn't that sound amazing? Like if women were supported in a way that then couples were stronger after they had children. I mean, nobody thinks that. Everyone's like, oh, your marriage is going to be over when you have kids and we don't have sex anymore. Oh, everyone's exhausted, right? But what if actually the coupleship was strengthened on the other side? Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. What if we were healthier on the other side, right? What if our women's health, what if our pelvic floor was stronger? What if we had more access to our feminine power? What if we were not feeling exhausted or coming up with an autoimmune disorder, which is mostly what's happening with postpartum women now? We emerge and we're more whole, and our couples are more whole, and our community is more whole, and the next generation of babies are really strongly attached and secure and creating a planet that feels more safe, that has more potential, and where we're really caring for, I really liked what Elizabeth said, it's not even interdependence, because interdependence doesn't even make that word doesn't even make sense when you realize that it's all the same thing. When we realize and we drop into the fact that every single person's evolution and health is contributing to the rest of our evolution and health. So what are those universal needs that we need to be shepherded? I really don't like the word self-care anymore. I'm really trying to get away from that because what we need is community care. And there's 5 universal needs that every woman needs postpartum. And when I say the woman needs it, that also means the couple needs it, that also means the environment needs it, but the mother needs to be at the center here. What are those needs? The first one is rest. So you can have all of these other needs, but if you don't have rest, you cannot heal on a very fundamental level. The second one is nourishing mineral-rich food. So you need to be putting back into your body what you lost, which from a Chinese medicine perspective, if everyone knows about that, is like blood tonifiers and kidney tonifiers. But all of the great food in the world, again, is not going to help if you don't have the rest. So we need to be facilitating rest for women postpartum. So you have food, rest, and then you have spiritual companionship. So you need the presence of people who can actually sit with you. Women are very isolated. That's why you're hearing about all the depression. There's depression also because there's birth injuries that are not tended to. But if you have rest, food, spiritual companionship, the next one is loving touch. So women need to be touched postpartum. It's a part of the process, the skin-to-skin contact. And the last one is contact with nature. And you might recognize that those needs sound a lot like maybe what you needed when you were in your transition. Maybe you didn't have enough rest. Maybe you didn't have any witnessing from loving companions, spiritual or otherwise. And women also are needing the same things that we naturally know that infants need. We know that infants need eye contact. We know that infants need nurturing and close support. And so that's what I have to say. I don't need to fill up the rest of the time. Is just that if you know women who are having babies and you have this information, this is remembered information. Every other culture in the world has traditions of lying in. That's called lying in, confinement. In India, it's called the sacred window, where women just don't do anything for 30 to 40 days, except, well, they do a lot, but what they do is take care of their babies. They don't grocery shop and take care of family that comes into town and give the baby away while they go do other things. They actually are just focused on breastfeeding, bonding, and healing themselves and being served. So if you have the opportunity to serve a new mother or to serve other members of the community that are serving new mothers, then I encourage you to break whatever barriers we have about talking with our neighbors or offering help, because asking for help is probably one of the hardest things that new moms, the challenge that they're facing. We don't have a lot of practice receiving, and so asking for help can be really challenging. So if the help that you offer is a chance for them to rest, or nourishing food, or loving touch, those are all things that you'll know you're getting to the very core of the restoration of their health.
Talk about inspiring change and inspiring action. Who knows a new mother? Who feels inspired to maybe go over there and just be with her and touch her and maybe bring her food? Yeah, pretty amazing. Thank you, Kimberly. So again, let's take one more minute and we'll connect with someone about what just impacted you about that talk. And then I would love to invite you to play musical chairs to this next speaker. Sit somewhere, shift your perspective. Maybe just kind of shift your way of looking as a speaker. And we'll be back in 1 minute.